I have a theory. I'm no scientist, but I have a theory that perhaps, some people who were administering these vaccines were more careless than others. And if you're lucky, you had your vaccine, if you submitted to it, you had your vaccine administered by someone who wasn't as careful about it as they should have been, and perhaps as a result, you didn't take as much of a risk. Is that how you see it?
I think there's all those sort of variables, but I mean, I've met and spoken with Mike Yeadon on a number of occasions. He was the head of research at Pfizer for a very long time. And he maintains that the speed that those vaccines were produced, if you forget everything else about the safety and efficacy, he maintains that there is no way that any of those big pharma companies could have produced a homogeneous vaccine in that number of doses in that speed of time. So he maintains that there are going to be huge differences between what's actually in the vials between different batches. And he's looked at evidence from America, and what would appear to be is that about 5% of the batches in America are responsible for 85% of the deaths, which would lead to thinking that there is a massive difference between batches potentially. We know that the way the vaccines were produced, and because of its use of mRNA technology, I understand that the vaccines in bulk can't be stirred. Well, you could see if you didn't get the manufacturing process perfected and it was rolled out very quickly, that you could have huge disparities between what's in one lot of vials and what's in another lot of vials. And that could have, obviously, a major difference on the outcome for the people who get those vaccines.
So, just for the benefit of the viewers, Andrew, I'm not sure you can answer this question, but you might be able to. I mean, a lot of viewers will have taken the vaccine, perhaps, a year ago or whatever. Is there a bell curve to the that you've found to the adverse reactions? I mean, if for example a viewer took the vaccine a year ago, are they now in the clear if they haven't had an adverse reaction?
There's evidence out there that even 2 years after vaccination, that the excess deaths are still occurring. I'll share with your viewers that I took 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. I didn't have any problem at all with the first one. The second dose really hurt me, and I've had a lot of side effects since. But that's sort of 2 years ago, and the side effects I've had this year are considerably less than they were last year. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, the risks to those of us who took the vaccines are reducing.
And which brands have you found are the worst? Is it Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca? Which ones have the worst record?
Well, AstraZeneca was supposedly that bad that it was withdrawn in Europe and then in the UK. So obviously there were concerns around. Yep, not in Australia, and also the Covishield is actually the AstraZeneca vaccine that was produced in India and that was rolled out, and is still being rolled out, as I understand. So there are concerns about that. The figures I've seen for severe adverse events are that it's an average of one in 800. That the Pfizer would be around 1 in 990, but Moderna 1 in 162. So on that scale, that the Moderna is probably maybe worse than the Pfizer, although I'm well aware, and I've presented evidence to the government, which they've again rejected, but it's unequivocal, that the Pfizer vaccine that was rolled out around the world was not the same vaccine that was given emergency authorization by all the regulators. And the answer to that is very straightforward. The smoking gun is the anaphylactic shock risk. The vaccine that was approved by Pfizer, the mRNA, was created by using PCR technology to replicate the messenger ribonucleic acids very, very carefully. And that was used in a trial to demonstrate supposed efficacy and safety. Again, there's some doubts now. I'm hearing reports that 80% of the deaths in the vaccine group of the Pfizer trial were kept out of the data that was given to the regulators. That's an allegation. But what is clear is that 4 times as many people died of cardiac problems in the vaccine group of Pfizer than died in the control group who had the placebo.